Hey Tom, how was Berlin?
Great.
Yeah? Did you make the cut?
No.
No? Is that why you're back?
I've got 6 left feet.
Oh yeah. Well, continuity doesn't matter anyway. You know,
No.
it's just something
I've
someone
been
made
to
up.
Berlin.
Dudes Watch a Movie Podcast, episode 55. I'm still Zap Brannigan. It's so stupid. What do we watch, Tom? No, Kirk, it's your movie. What do we watch?
Halloween.
Which Halloween?
Halloween.
The third movie called Halloween.
Yes, Halloween. Parentheses 2018 and parentheses.
Okay. Hey Tom, give me some deets.
It was actually directed by David Gordon Green, written with Danny McBride, and also Jeff Radley and a few other people. But that besides the point. Back to my notes. I clicked the wrong thing. Budget guess. Take a good guess. It's a big budget. Not 7. Over 7.
Dang it, I was going to say 7. 20 million.
I was gonna say 20 million. 20 million, $1.
No!
10 million
Really?
estimated.
I win.
Technically. Opening weekend, it made $76 million.
Hot dang.
Like, woof.
What a lucrative genre.
U.S. alone, it made... Oh, hold on a sec. Well, that's a lot of commas. Okay, there we go. Yeah, U.S. alone, it made 159,000.
There.
It was actually 159 million.
I was
Shit,
wait. I looked like you were about to make a B sound. I was like, don't say billion.
Not billions. Gross cumulative worldwide at 255 million. To make a $10 million film and easily a lot budget your film.
Yeah, that's why horror movies are like so prevalent. They're such low budget, so they're low risk, possibly high return.
When did
10
this
million low budget?
When did this come
Yeah.
out? This came out on Halloween, right? Or at least
No,
in
like-
October.
like August.
October 19th.
Oh, thank God.
Which is
It was originally
literally
some weird time
in
like that.
3 days. So.
Topical.
But in reality, it's like 12 days
2
from
days
when
from
you're
when this
here
comes out.
after, yeah,
Does this come out 15th?
the first.
Day late,
Sorry.
dollar short.
Welcome
so.
to Halloween, the day after Halloween, everybody.
Hope you're not too sugar comed.
No.
I think that's it for box office deets. I'll give you the plot, or is that your deal?
Give us
When
the plot,
has
Kirk.
it ever been? So in 1978, Laurie Strode's older brother killed her older sister and then
No,
came
that
back.
wasn't. It wasn't her brother. That just got made up. Someone just made
you're
that
right.
up.
So in 1978, the Michael Myers killed his older sister, and now it is 40 years later, and he's come back to finish the job that he didn't finish in the first one by trying to kill Laurie Strode, who then he tried to kill also 20 years later in the insane asylum in H2O.
No, that didn't happen either.
Okay, so 1978, Michael Myers killed his older sister, and then he later tried to kill Laurie Strode, who's not his older sister anymore. And then he got locked up after that and has not been out of jail once in those 40 years. And now they're going to transfer him from the penitentiary to another one. And then he breaks out, and now the hunt is on. But who hunts the hunter?
Hashtag Me Too movement.
Nah, not
No,
fam.
no,
That's
not
not
fam?
what this
Hey,
movie is
when did,
about whatsoever.
When did the rap guy who was gonna make a haunted house live action video cast? When did that happen?
What?
Who?
Huh?
I can't think of his name. Busta Rhymes.
Oh, that
When did Busta Rhymes attack?
That's so. I think there's now 4 different timelines, and that's in timeline 2 or 3.
That's right. Wasn't
It was
Yeah.
H2O, wasn't it?
No, it's the
Was
one
that the
after
Rob
that.
Zombie one?
It's Halloween.
No, that was the remake.
It's the one after H2O that Busta Rhymes is in. I've
So
got them all.
Revolutions,
So
revolutions,
let's do
family
taglines.
reunions.
Taglines. I bet I got one.
Go for it.
God, got peanut butter on my penis. wait, sorry. God, got Halloween on my penis. There you go. It's gotta be the movie.
I'm gonna go with 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more na 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 na. Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep on saying Lucky Shamrock.
I was like, Halloween. Again.
Again.
For real this time.
But it's trick or treat. That's all it is. It's just trick or treat, which I feel like is probably the one they've used in the previous ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rehashed ideas from everything in this movie. What are your topics of discussion?
Comedians making horror movies.
Tom, what'd you come up with?
Do you think this film deserved to have another adaptation?
No.
Yes.
Well, I need explanations.
Yes.
We'll get into that.
Explain your answers.
Yes.
Uh,
for the extra 5 points.
continuity's my thing, and how movies just keep trying to say, no, that didn't happen, which happens throughout this series.
Hey, but here's the thing: if you want them to, they can, and that's the issue. Because people are like, well, they took all the Star Wars books out of the canon, so now they didn't happen. And I'm like, but they still can.
No,
you can still read them. You can go watch those
I don't mean
movies.
that. I don't mean that. We'll get on to what I mean. Who wants to start?
Apparently you do.
Did it deserve
Discussion.
fucking continuity, man? My issue is this series, from movie to movie, just says, you know what? That didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Halloween 5, Loomis and Michael blow up. Halloween 6, no, that didn't happen. Nah, we're just gonna forget that happened in the last movie. Like, there wasn't a big break between them. They're just like, nah, didn't happen.
My problem is
He's her brother now, because that we didn't tell you that in the last movie, but they're siblings. That's why it's important.
my problem is though it's a slasher franchise, and that's prevalent in every slasher franchise.
No, but at least
This is where I like this movie is they try it get once you're on like movie. To be fair, once you're on like movie 4, it becomes like ridiculously convoluted because you're like, how do we bring it back now? And this movie's like, you know what? We're not even gonna try and make this work in the previous tellings. We're gonna tell the Halloween story we want to tell and just push Tommy Doyle out of the way. Is that him, or is that Friday the 13th? I can't remember. That's Friday.
not
the 13th.
even that. Well, first off, Friday the 13th doesn't really have that problem. At least not until
Jason Goes to Space.
that one doesn't count.
See,
9. Jason Goes to Hell. When they start saying like, oh, also the Necronomicon, that's how he comes back. Oh, also he's been trying to kill off his family. Also this. That's why that was the last one in the series.
it wasn't though.
Doesn't count.
They made
Reboots don't count.
What about the Versus movie?
Doesn't count. Different universe.
What about Jason X when they go to space afterwards?
that one was great.
What about Jason Takes Manhattan when
That
he's
one was
barely
great.
in Manhattan?
What about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Which has nothing to do with Michael Myers, but it's still in universe and there's witches.
If you hold out hope, maybe they'll make a version of that, and then this will be our 5th continuity. They're like, we're gonna ignore everything after Season of the Witch, but we're gonna include the Rob Zombie ones in there.
Maybe
also.
they're all taking place on alternate universes.
Maybe Earth 2.
Maybe when the what's it called, Cloverfield Paradox went off,
Well,
it shattered the
that was a
timelines.
bad movie, so
I didn't see that.
it was not worth the time.
That's also another problem with continuity. I hate it when it happens, but I understand why, and I know that doesn't matter.
And
Because movies are whatever you want them to be.
I think it ultimately comes down to if it improves the continuity or if it makes it more convoluted, which this does both somehow.
Somehow.
Because now if you're watching the movies, you have to think about what timeline it belongs in.
Well-
but you can also be like, well, I didn't really like this movie, this movie, this movie, this movie, and this movie, so now I can just watch these 2 that are good.
You could have done that before.
I
I
could
do
have,
that with
yes.
Spider-Man. 1 and 2 are good, 3 didn't happen.
Oh,
Same with Pirates. 1's good, 2 didn't happen.
oh, 3 is amazing for all the wrong reasons.
But carry on the continuity. Part 2, they treat Myers like he is the literal boogeyman, like he's come back 9 times and killed 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And Stoner Dude was like, he killed 5. Big whoop.
No big deal.
We lose 5 kids in a school shooting every weekend. That's nothing anymore. I like that part.
Right.
But
Aged
everyone
like milk.
still treats him like the boogeyman. Like he's killed 1,000 people. He killed 5 40 years ago.
I
and been
think
locked up
17
since.
total.
By the end of this one, yeah.
Well, if you minus the 5, that's only 12 people. In
But everyone
2
acts
days.
like the remember the Titans coach was like, I was there that night.
Yeah.
I remember.
like it was a big
It's like,
massacre.
you showed up once. You saw him once.
Yeah,
40
but
years ago.
This is also supposed to be in a relatively small town. So, like, if something like this happened in a...
Suppose it
If this
wouldn't be
happened in
40
Colfax...
years ago.
If this happened in Colfax, people would still be fucking talking about it.
40 years ago.
Especially if he happened to be out now.
40 years
saying.
ago.
I'm just saying.
The other thing, too, that cop's been on the force for 40 plus years.
Yeah. It's
That's
a
why
small
he's a
town.
sheriff.
Supposed to be.
How long was Daniels at the police station?
Like, was he a cop as soon as he turned 18?
Probably.
Nah, maybe. I mean, he could be in his
small
50s.
towns, they just give the jocks a
Right.
badge and a
He
gun.
probably
You
was,
graduate
his
with
dad
a
was
badge.
probably like the sheriff at the time or something.
Knows his dad. He's like, I'll hook it.
But they don't
Dad
treat
was
him
a
like a
hell of a
literal
sheriff.
boogeyman in this. Like they call him the boogeyman, but like they call John Wick Bobo Yaga. Like they don't actually think, because in the other continuities, he is like, yeah, we've shot him,
Yeah,
we
he's
burned him, we
unkillable.
stabbed him.
He's supposed to go back to being a normal human in this one.
which I like, but they also still like, no, he's not, because he's 60 and he's just like lifting people and stuff. Like
Who's been in a mental asylum,
right.
apparently
Not lifting
being
weights.
fed nothing but protein shakes
Yeah.
and getting yoked, right? So he's just deadlifting people,
Michael Myers
stabbing a
straight
knife.
Which is terrifying to think of, yoked old Michael Myers. Just imagine him naked and shredded, like,
But also very wrinkly and scarred.
Yeah,
Probably all
no,
his skin looks like fire.
no. I just like that they just push all the weirdness to the side, and then they're like, let's just make sense off the first one, which to me is okay. Like I like even the bad ones, I still like, but I never am like, oh, now hold on, what ties in where again? The one that bothers me the most is Resurrection, which is the one after H2O, because it's such a fucking convoluted way to bring him back. Because at the end of H2O, spoilers, he's like pinned in the log and Lori fucking whaps his head off, right? And then at the start of the next one, they're like, but wait, actually what had happened was, like when he was in the back of the ambulance, he snatched this dude who's the same size as him.
The ambulance.
And then he put him in his jumpsuit and then put the mask on him, and then they literally show him crushing his larynx and explain, oh, he crushed his larynx so he couldn't speak. So that way when he's doing this, it makes sense why he's not just going, I'm not Michael Myers. And then she lopped off the wrong guy's head, and now she's in an insane asylum and gets pushed off a roof.
Yeah. Continuity doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't at all. Same. I think it's the comic book upbringing where it's like they're constantly just rebooting or changing stories. I'm like, I'm okay.
Retconning.
Yeah, just as long as it's good, which this one was good. Like in comparison to all the other ones, this is the second best one they've ever made.
The second best Halloween since Halloween.
Right, and it's the first good Halloween since Rob Zombie Halloween, which is not aged well for me, honestly.
Really?
No.
I
liked
watched
it a
that
lot in
couple
high
years
school.
back. I liked it.
It's too rednecky for me now.
The first like half hour
Yeah.
is rough, but
Shut that kid up, or I'm gonna go over there and skull fuck him. Like what?
I found myself missing the main chick from that one. I wanted her in place of not Sansa Stark in this movie.
Scout Compton Taylor, whatever.
I don't know her name. I just know she was the
And
cute
then
blonde.
they ruined her in the second one because they made her fucking insufferable.
Oh, that's right. They had a sequel, didn't they?
Yeah,
I
which
saw
is
that one.
the least Halloween-y of all the sequels, and I don't know if I like it or hate it because I'm like, this isn't Michael Myers, but at the same time, it's an okay movie.
It made it was the highest grossing Halloween movie for opening weekend.
This one was.
I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I mean,
You're riding off the high of the name.
The release date.
The release date. It's going back to the original. You got Carpenter involved again. There's no way they weren't going to make money
Right.
off this. But continuity. So they explicitly point out that Michael is not her brother.
Right.
He has no connection to her. But for some reason, he's coming back. But he's murdering random people in his path, plus a kid, but not another kid.
which I love that part, by the way.
I was kind of hoping he'd kill the baby.
See, but
Or at least
weren't
imply.
you thinking about it though? Like,
At least imply they're going to kill the baby.
since he kills that kid that just wants to fucking dance, you know, like
It's his
that.
passion. He wants
I'm
to
really into it, man.
dance, Daddy.
That was one of my favorite parts is they kill that little kid. So then later when the baby's crying, you're like, oh fuck, because at this point you're not supposed to kill the kid in the horror movies. And I mean, there are obviously movies like where they're super like, we're gonna be edgy and dark and we're gonna kill the baby and the dog and we're gonna kill this, but like in a major studio release they would never do that. And it's not super violent or brutal, but it sets the tone that, oh shit, I didn't think he would kill him, but
we
he did.
could go there. Yeah.
Right, and then there's the brief pause in front of the baby while the baby's crying, and I remember in theaters like, oh fuck, nope, nope, and then he keeps walking. It's like continuity because he didn't kill the baby the first time, which now didn't exist.
I'm trying to think because I know in the Rob Zombie movie he wouldn't kill a baby, right?
Because in that one it's Lori who is his sister.
Right.
So I was reading here that while the film ignores all previous sequels and reboots, it pays homage to all the Halloween films and that was intended by Danny McBride when he wrote it.
I don't know if you can call that homage.
Homage.
I even screwed
Homage.
it up.
It's probably
Homage.
Homage, yes.
It feels more like he's just copying, pasting.
Picking kind of.
Okay, so last week we were talking about copying 70s vibes.
Yes, which
right?
this movie does.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes it's weird angles, it's weird
Lens
batshit stuff. Very, very original Halloween, right? And they even recreate scenes straight from that movie.
Yep, the one taker.
Yeah. Her
Not the
falling
Undertaker.
off, disappearing.
Yep.
Her stalking outside the school. Like it feels like we're going for that vibe, but we're just kind of copy and pasting. And then a lot of stuff, not Loomis. I swear I've seen that character at least twice in the Halloween series, where he's the doctor
the guy
wants
that
to
actually
study.
plays him. Yeah.
He wants to study the madman. He wants to study the evil inside.
I mean, this is basically a very, very high budget fan film, is what it is.
Right.
But at the same time, too, I think of this the same way I thought of the first Star Wars of the new series. Which one was that?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, where it doesn't know if it's a reboot, a remake, or a what was the other R word? Not that one, Tom.
Recreation.
Jeez.
I was going to say readaptation.
Reboot. It's like a soft remake, basically, where they're like, we're kind of, yeah, where they're gonna put in things that are familiar from the other ones, but tweak what they want to tweak, and then it's almost kind of a cop-out way of being like, we want to remake the same movie but not the same one, because they did that with Psycho and no one liked it. But they're like, all the stuff you mentioned are taken cherry-picked straight out of other movies, but it works for me for whatever reason, and I'm not sure what that is. And I do like that it starts out super 70s, and they do retain some of it, but then after that it gets to be a bit more modern in terms of like the color palette and the way that it's shot. Visually, it's a super dark movie. Like, I love that they shot this movie at night and not day for night. Like, the skies aren't all like blue clouds
it's
everywhere.
So terribly done.
There's a lot of fucking
a lot of
contrast.
weird shadows happening when it's day night.
Exactly. The only one that is really egregious is when she's running through the woods, but otherwise it, like, you can't just film pitch black. And I was noticing like the dash lights at some certain points are super visible, so they had to have used a camera that's just really good at low light shooting, because a lot of the lights looked practical, like they were just the actual lights on houses lighting the street, which means the
whole neighborhood was just lit up.
Yeah, which is crazy, but a good choice.
I agree.
Yes.
Probably didn't help that you're doing it on your OLED TV too. It makes it pop a lot more. It's beautiful. All right. Well, next topic, maybe.
Comedians making horror movies, and why they're so good at it. So this one's by Danny McBride, right, and David Gordon Green, right? That's his name. From Pineapple Express. I think they've done other movies with Seth Rogen and all that jazz, right? But then you've got Kevin Smith did Red State, right? Jordan Peele, Get Out, and Us, whatever. I don't know if I would label John Krasinski a comedian, but he was on The Office and does comedic roles, and then did the one where they can't speak and they do the sign language.
Quiet Place.
But it's not
Quiet
Hush.
Place,
That's
yes.
what it is.
And I was trying to rack my brain over why it translates so well, and I think it's because comedy and horror are based on the same principle of
misdirection, setup, delivery.
Yes, exactly. They're just trying to get a different reaction from you, but it's the same. Subverting expectations. Whoo, there it is. That's that phrase.
It's a real hot topic.
Yeah,
This day and age in 2018,
finger on the pulse.
19, 20.
Which I also like that the doctor's like, you killed him, but he's wearing a mask. But also he's not that kind of doctor, so he just doesn't fucking know.
I'm a doctor. Stand back. I have a PhD
in psychology. Don't worry about that part. But I would like to see more comedians get into it, because I think the problem, I tend to like comedian horror movies more than just like the people who grew up loving horror movies and always wanted to make horror movies, because those are usually the ones that are shitty and tropey, and it's like
garbage.
Yeah, and it's like they think they're being edgy, but they're not.
I'm gonna take everything I know from other films and put them into mine. That way, it's completely predictable
Yeah.
at that point.
And they're like, I'm really pushing the limits of what we can do. And it's like, you're not. You're
you
just
have a bigger budget.
You're just making a trash movie versus, like, clearly, like, these people are fans of horror movie, but it's almost like
Different interpretation, different imagery.
I don't know what metaphor I want to do for school kids. Like, you know, the kid that thinks he's funny and artsy, but he's not good at it. Like, that's the horror movie fan, right? Versus this is the one that would be drawing things that are unrelated, and he'd be like, that's really good. And he's like, I mean, it's whatever, but like,
It's all right.
there's something about horror movie makers that grew up loving horror that think they know what it's missing today and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, this is why they're not scary anymore. And then they make it and you're like, that's not scary. That might be scary just to you,
Right.
but not to the general public. Like, it doesn't like hit those right beats.
It may be a scary thought in your mind, but the execution of how you tried to portray it was offbeat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Plus, I think they miss the most important part that every horror movie that I've seen by comedians, they know how to make likable characters, because in a comedian or in comedy movies, you have to somewhat make them likable if you're gonna think they're funny. So even like the little kid in this movie is funny, the dad's funny, David's funny. There's no one in this movie that I found completely insufferable other than the
Cops.
douchebag boyfriend.
The cops.
The cops.
Those two cops are like,
Oh, yeah,
I got
yeah,
a
yeah.
Bugatti sandwich. It's a Bugatti. It's like a
Bugatti.
French baguette. It's whatever he calls it.
It's a bow.
Look what I got. I got
something.
pudding and a brownie. That's what a 5-year-old would have. At least they died very quickly, so
Yes.
I can forgive them.
And that, I think, is potentially an issue of the comedian. It like where they're like, everyone's got to be funny. It's like, well,
that's the only part in this movie I thought that doesn't belong.
Could've
there.
just been
There's
cut.
no reason for that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit with the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like the peanut butter on my pecker, that was funny. And then he just kept kind of going with it. Okay, this is his shtick.
Mm-hmm.
He's making funny faces at one point too. He was just like, "Meow."
when she was yelling at the cop. Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
No.
Why are you doing that?
But he's like the most real person in this movie. He's like he's the ultimate dad.
He's the dad.
He's 100%, and not like how the kids like to say daddy. You know, like he's like, God damn it, dad, like that guy.
Daddy.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you got?
So I have two. My main one is, do you think this film deserved to have another adaptation? Why or why not? Do you think it did it justice? Do you think it helped, did it help the franchise in a whole? Or could it have just completely mooted out?
Better than it could have been.
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't have done it just because you already had a remake going. But studios have been doing that. Because so you have Joker, which is a standalone, but then you also have a separate Joker movie, which is tied in with the extended universe, but that's separate because a new Batman's coming in. You have 3 different franchises going of the same character or characters.
Do you feel like the
Right.
lack of originality is becoming a big issue?
That's been like that for
Because I've been
decades,
seeing
though.
Yeah.
more and more remakes, more and more like songs that sound like other songs.
It's not.
There's a reason for that, though. That's
Yeah,
because
I believe it.
because you're more likely to go see a movie. Oh, Halloween. Is that
Yeah,
connected to the other
right.
Halloween? I'll go see that rather than Blood Terror 9, whatever.
It's not the lack of originality. It's the lack of risk taking and the power of branding, right?
Right.
Because so fucking, if you haven't seen Joker, I'm about to talk about Joker for quite a bit. So maybe go see Joker or don't. I don't know. Earmuffs. It's not actually gonna get into spoiler. Don't worry about it. Joker does not have to be a fucking Joker movie. It works just fine if he's not the Joker, if they are not in Gotham, if they don't name drop like Bruce Wayne and all those people. But if they tried to make this drama about someone with mental illness that like snaps eventually, it would not have made $1 billion if it was not called Joker.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're at with a lot of these movies. This movie does hinge a lot about it has to be Michael Myers, like for the way it's set up and how the story progresses. They could have made this movie, but a lot of those like connections, because this is about a lot of connections, they would have had to have been either a 3-hour movie, because they would have had to establish the connection between Laurie and Michael in like the first hour, and that's how you get fucking that Rob Zombie remake where you spend an hour with young Michael. Or they would have had to make a whole other movie first before they could get to this movie. But there's so many movies that come out now that Fury Road. It doesn't have to be a Mad Max movie. But since you put Mad Max on the title,
It's going to get butts and seats.
right, because people are going to know it.
Brand awareness.
I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing that they do that, but when people say they lack originality, I don't know that that's the truth, because Fury Road is like a fucking awesome movie, but it also benefited from being called Mad Max. Joker is a pretty fucking good movie, but it also benefited from being called Joker.
But isn't also part of a sequel, though, for like your Mad Max one?
That's
Not really. I
Could
mean,
it almost be its own
technically-
standalone?
It does, but it does make some reference to the previous stuff, but it's
That's
not
for
a
those
direct
who've seen it and loved it.
kind
Right.
of.
Okay.
which
that-
is similar
see,
how this movie plays.
Something like that I like, where it's a continuation of this old franchise. Obviously, you can't get Mel Gibson to come back.
because he's too racist.
That too. It's a continuation of that, but it's still a new character. You don't need to explain every little change. Why are the cars different? Why is he different? Replacing Cuba Gooding Jr. with Don Cheadle in Iron Man
It's
1
not
and 2.
Cuba Gooding Jr., but yeah,
Who was it?
Terrence Howard.
Really?
Yeah,
Am I racist?
Mel Gibson.
I could have sworn it was Cuba Gooding Jr. I am terrible. He's got Don Cheadle right, though, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Captain Planet.
Yep.
Cool.
He'll turn you into
Moving
a fucking
on.
tree.
Like that. All they did for that was show the back of his head, pan around. There's War Machine. There's Rhodes.
And they do that one little bit. And it's like, yeah, it's me. Deal with it. Like
Yeah.
the line of acknowledging that it's a different actor, but it also makes sense in the conversation that's happening, which I think this movie does a really good job of. A little too much, not gonna lie. Like the little like
They did that with
wink,
the
wink,
Doctor,
nudge,
right?
Not
nudge.
his brother.
Yeah. Oh, so you're the new Loomis. So there's supposed to be in jokes for like the people that are in the know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's also like, yeah, I get it.
Moving on.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense. That is technically a soft reboot,
Yep.
but still connected to the universe. Continuity kind of matters, but it's a standalone. You could start there and not see the others, right?
Makes sense.
I forgot where I was going with that.
No, you finished. You wrapped it up.
Cool.
Yeah. You were just talking about the difference between how Mad Max is basically the same as Halloween, but it follows a different way to get there.
Yes. That's
They're
what I
both
was-
they're both
yes,
remake
yeah.
reboots, kind of, but one follows continuity, but just doesn't acknowledge it as much. But,
Comedians making horror movies.
hell yeah, dog.
And then I have a slightly kind of fun discussion topic. Out of all the slashers, who
Michael
was your
Myers.
favorite and why?
Michael Myers.
Alien.
Oh, that's not a slasher though.
That's a slasher
That's
in
a
space.
monster.
That's a slasher in space.
No,
Okay,
he
so I'm
eats people.
talking
That's a
like
slasher in space.
talking-
It's
Yeah.
the same setup.
Texas Chainsaw.
That's
You're
the
Jason.
same. That's the same setup.
You're
Alien, the
you're-
xenomorph.
You're
Even though I don't really like.
You know what?
uh,
I'll give it to you.
What's his name?
I'll give it
Forgot
to
the
you
director's
as long
name
as you say Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is not a.
Then Alien is not a
Can't have it.
slasher.
So moving on. What other one?
You go. I'll think of one.
I like Michael Myers. Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Krueger. Okay.
It's definitely between those two, and it depends on what year, I guess.
Krueger survives better with
He makes
as
more
sequel
sense,
goes
yeah.
on because he just becomes this wild, wacky.
Because he is an
crazy-
actual like magical entity.
Yeah. So he can just change whatever he wants because, fuck it, why not? Like that one. Yeah.
Plus, I think his bad movies are better than Michael's bad movies.
Yep.
Welcome to prime time,
So
bitch.
I know they did like a
Happy
Freddy
Halloween.
vs. Jason type of deal, but if it was a big giant battle royale between all of them, would it probably be Freddy? Because he seems the most supernatural character out of them all.
It depends on where it takes place. If it takes
Not in
place in
space, a big open meadow.
This is the same argument with Goku versus Superman. What's the battlefield? Where are
exactly.
they going to fight? Because
If they're in
it's
the
the same
dreamland, it's
thing.
Freddy.
They
But
have
if-
to pull
yeah.
Freddy out to kill him,
Right.
but then he still survives because fuck you powers.
No, see, if Freddy's in the real world, he has no powers. That's how it should be.
But every time they do that in every movie where they pull him out and kill him,
Right.
but then he always survives.
But it takes
Freddy vs.
X amount of
Jason,
time, yeah.
it's like, oh, he's dead, and then he winks at the camera
Right.
like, well, he's not actually dead.
But in reality, outside the dreamscape, he has no powers, and he would get his head lopped off. I would think it would be Jason that would win, right? Because he is the other also actually been
He's the
shown
actual
as
supernatural
right?
element, yeah.
Right.
If we're going like with this Michael, not this one, with Michael Myers, with this movie's Michael Myers, like he's just a guy.
So he'd probably be the weakest out of them all because he's the most
Probably.
human.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger would be the weakest. First of all, Jigsaw would be the weakest because he's got cancer. So
I would
he's
throw Jigsaw. Jigsaw's
already
way
dead.
outclassed.
He's dying before it starts.
Can you imagine that? Hello, Michael. I want to play it. No, stop stabbing me. You gotta wait.
So I would think Jigsaw dies first. Then it would be I would think Michael.
When
Or-
does Bruce Campbell come in with his chainsaw and shotgun?
He's not a slasher, so I'm not putting him
He's
in
not a
there.
bad guy. Slasher.
He has to do the clean sweep.
We
at the
almost
end,
got that movie too.
which would have been fucking sick.
Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. We almost had.
There's
that
a comic.
movie.
They canceled it last minute.
Yeah, it never.
Too many different property owners, basically.
That's
So close. So close.
Who are that would be it, right? Because Freddy dies, then Michael die. Michael or Leatherface would die next, depending on who gets the first hit, right?
Yeah.
Because Leatherface is also just
They're
a crazy
both just-
guy, but he's
yeah.
got a chainsaw, which got way more reach than a knife.
True.
And then he would try and chainsaw Jason, but then Jason would just machete the fuck out of him while he's like hanging in half. I guess I don't know.
What about Scream Guy?
Get the fuck
Really? I think he would die first.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
What about no? Okay. So Chucky's got to be in there. He's gonna get punted though.
Along
And do
with
you
all
do
the
Brad
toys from
Dourif
Puppet
Chucky
Master?
or do you do
Always Brad Dourif.
Mark Hamill Chucky?
Wait, what?
Didn't Mark Hamill do the new remake?
Oh, I don't know. I've only ever known Brad Dourif, who's also in the Halloween Rob Zombie movies.
Is he?
He's the dad of the girl that's friends with Lori, the sheriff with the ponytail, and he's like, "You ever wonder who the original Marvin that was starving was?"
I have no memory of this.
Yes, because those movies are fucking forgettable. All right, you got anything else topic wise?
Nope. I do not believe I do.
Was not really a topic, but was her daughter in on the trap?
No.
Because
Wait, who are we talking about? Daughter?
The young
Lori's
one or
daughter?
the-
Okay, so first off, this movie feels like it should have been its mother and daughter, not mother, daughter, granddaughter. But just because it's been 40 years, we have to do a granddaughter because
Right. Yeah.
no one wants to see a middle-aged woman fight Michael Myers.
And to think,
Trouble with the daughter doesn't even fight him.
No.
She stabs him once and then that's it.
She shoots him.
But when the mom, when they're trapping him, the mom's like, "It's not a cage, sweetie. It's a trap."
Oh, Lori.
Was that Lori that said that?
Yeah, the grandma. Yeah.
Okay, I thought the mom said that
No, it was
to
Lori.
not Sansa.
I think it was Lori.
I don't know her name.
not Sansa.
Everyone in this movie looks like someone else. Lori's character looks like someone. I can't tell who. Not Sansa's the daughter.
I just
We've
don't see
got
Sansa.
We've got
the
Laurie
boyfriend
Strode, we've got
is
Karen,
somewhere.
we've got Allison.
Allison, that's right. That's right.
Was that her name?
Allison was the younger one, yes.
And then you've got the guy that was dressed up as the devil that looks like the Elephant Man.
Yeah. Everyone's
It's just
like
the forehead.
distinctive and they look like someone else, but you know who needed to die? The boyfriend should have died.
Yeah, he got away scot-free.
Dave?
Yeah, he should have
No.
died over the fat guy.
Cameron.
dying.
That's what it
Cameron, yeah.
Fucking Cameron. Anyway, my point. I felt like the daughter was somehow in on the trap, and this was all part of it to lure Michael in
Karen.
and then kill him.
Right? Karen. Karen was in on it. So Lori and Karen are in on it. Allison is not.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Why?
Because the daughter left. She left that life of
She was taken away by DHS.
right, but she was out of it. And the whole movie, she's like, "Mom, you're crazy. You're insane. He's not coming. You're just being paranoid." But then at the very end, she's in on the trap.
Yeah.
That
They were at the house for a decent amount of time to be like, hey. Also, she was there when they were building that underground area.
it just seems like she would. It seems like it's almost there for us, the audience, not for the characters. That's the switch. I
she
did
was like,
I did
"I
like
can't do
her.
it."
Mom, I can't do it. Gotcha, fucker.
Right.
And then like that I like. That's when it kind of switches to
Right.
oh, she's still in that mindset. But then why is she pretending throughout the entire movie?
Well, I think it's the whole idea
She's doing
of...
it for her husband, the dad.
Oh, yeah.
who she
Rip.
let wander around outside to get killed.
Well, I think it's the old argument of paranoia. Are you paranoid if you're right? So she got DHS, took her away, and then I think she spent her entire life trying to convince herself. She even says, like, the world is not a dangerous place. It's full of love and nice and good things. And I think she, like, as soon as Michael does come back, she's like, fuck, she was right. Like, that's when she's like, we gotta get Allison here, and we gotta do this and that. And I think at that point she reverts back into her mama's right that training wasn't for nothing mode. Because I can only assume when she got taken away by child services, they put her through some sort of therapy, and the therapists were like, hey, no, you gotta let it go. And they keep talking, like Allison tells Lori that at some point too, like, you gotta move on from Michael, you're just being crazy and paranoid. But she's not, because it did happen.
I would almost want that movie
Where it doesn't happen.
No, where it does happen, but you spend way more time with Lori just being paranoid
with Karen,
and just yeah,
so
like Lori and Karen prepping and
up.
preparing, like it's gonna happen.
That
the
would have been my
machines are
favorite
coming.
scene.
They're gonna kill us. It
But
reminds
then
me a
that's
bit
the Rob
of
Zombie Halloween where you spend too much time with the girl as a kid.
True, but
maybe make
just
a part 1, part 2.
I don't know.
Season of the Witch.
Part 3. It wouldn't work because it wouldn't really be a slasher. It'd be more of a thriller at that point. But if, killings are happening, no one else believes it's Michael, but she's like, it's him, he's coming. And then you, the audience, think that maybe she is actually just paranoid. Oh, but no, then Michael shows up, and then that's when it switches.
But the problem is you would never think that.
Right.
Because it's Halloween.
Right. You know the title of the movie. You've seen... Yeah.
The trailer has him in there and everything,
Yeah.
But I do like... Because Halloween was always... Like, it's the original slasher, which is debatable. But it's also the classy slasher. Like, the original one wasn't... There's barely any blood in it. I don't even know if there is any blood in it. Most of the killing is, like, off-screen. Similar to the way it was in, like, Psycho. In this movie, they do show a couple... fucking gruesome stuff.
He loves bashing heads into things.
Curb stomping people, breaking jaws. But there's also ones where like you just hear it happen off screen, or you see it the aftermath later
with the hammer.
Yeah, which I think is a good callback to the way it was, but also acknowledging now people want to see stuff. An homage.
So there was that. Which, first off, how did that lady fall into the chair? Hit in the back of the head, but then fell into the chair facing the other way. That happens, and then he smashes a face in and stabs a chick through the neck. Like old 70s style killing, and then modern. Kind of neat, very shocking, but yeah.
They toe the line, which I enjoy. Also, the soundtrack in this is awesome. Just on that, I like the.
Because John Carpenter.
Exactly.
Slightly different, but also the same.
Right, because you got the classic theme, and I like that they hold off playing the theme until he puts the mask on, and then they'll pepper it in here and there. But my favorite addition is the guitar hits, like like it's such a good tone. It's amazing.
Was it during the height of the big bass drops for a lot of movies?
Dubstep,
or like
like in
Battlefield?
trailers, yeah. No, it would have been after that. It's almost like they took that same principle, but John Carpenter made it his own because he's very like electronic industrial kind of stuff, the music that he likes to make. Because I think if they did a boom every time, it wouldn't have been near as like off-putting as
near as jarring.
Because it's almost like a air raid siren type sound. Like there's some sort of siren going off, like oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, run.
It peaks the blood.
I can see that. So.
Go on.
I just confused myself. Did we cover favorite?
No.
You said favorite slasher. Was that?
Yes, favorite slashers.
Going back, because I'm discompopulated now apparently.
Also, if
You're
no one
not
knows,
continuity.
he works overnights, so these are like weird days for him.
That is true.
So
give
we swear
him a
he's
little leeway.
stone cold sober, just very sleep deprived.
Is that your
We
wrestling
used to
reference?
make our stuff.
I actually said I said Undertaker earlier too.
True, you slipped it in there.
Yeah, which
That's
Michael
what she
sets
said.
up, which is where the Undertaker got it, and scene.
He is the boogeyman.
So
That's
who's your
the
favorite
Booger
slasher
Ranger got that
before,
from?
so we can move on?
Oh, well, if we're not gonna take Xenomorph,
Which I totally would if it was.
Who's yours? You didn't pick yours.
I've heard that argument that it's a slasher movie.
I would honestly go with Michael Myers just because of the
because you're tall.
yeah, and I wore a blue jumpsuit for 2 years.
Yeah.
They're comfy as shit.
Oh
I'll
no.
tell you what.
Do you relate?
No.
I am the Joker. Ah, ha 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 ha. And you're Leatherface.
I just have the mask because I'm fat and I went as that for Halloween one year.
What's your what the fuck moment?
I got peanut butter on my penis. It's out of nowhere, out of left field. Like, you just expect me like, oh, I got peanut butter on. And just walks away. No, he's just peanut butter on my penis.
And it's the way he says it so good too. I want to know if that's in the script or if that's ad-libbed, because either way, it's a stroke of genius.
It was like, it wasn't necessary, but it was well appreciated.
I'm upset that did not become a bigger meme. Like, that's probably the greatest slasher quote of all time. It's just a throwaway line. It's so fucking funny. What was your what the fuck?
Probably when he kills the kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had heard about that happening, and I thought it was going to be a lot more visceral.
Nope, just
kind of like he comes up right in front of the kid, and he's looking at him. Oh, he's not going to kill him, and then just snaps his neck like, fuck. This is just kind of a very subtle...
He got the head bash.
You could argue he's not dead, because...
probably just severely brain damaged.
Knocked out. Yeah.
Or permanently paralyzed because there's a crack noise.
When the dad decides it's a good idea, there's dozens of men in white prison suits from a crashed bus. I'm just going to leave my 8-year-old dancing son in the car.
Yep.
Call the police, son. Hey, is anyone hurt? I didn't even grab my gun.
There is a running theme in this movie of inept dads, though.
What was their total their whole end game though? Like, were they going night hunting or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure because they were on a hunting trip, but it doesn't establish like if they were hunting they went on an actual like hunting trip to another state and they were driving back, or what the deal was.
Because like usually if you go hunting, it's typically in the morning, so he would have easily made his dance practice.
You could have been too tired.
I don't know.
Have you ever tried going on an all-night hunting trip and then dancing?
No, I've never hunted one time.
Just a lot of dancing.
But you've danced, yeah.
My what the fuck moment is the breathing at the end. Because I just so badly wanted this to be its own thing and not have a sequel, but it's going to have a sequel.
How? Yeah. You spend all this time making him human again, and then the whole house burns down, which, first off, why would you burn your house down? You have guns. Shoot him in the face.
Yep, and then burn him.
Because they wanted to make it personal and slow.
I'm going to burn down my entire livelihood. I've spent decades building up for this one moment.
To be fair, he gets shot in the original Halloween and does not die.
He also got shot in the head.
Did you see how much ammunition she had?
I'm just saying.
Did you see how many guns she had?
It's like when Brock Sampson kills the fuck out of that chupacabra, and they're like, what is he doing? Being thorough.
Yeah, how do you make a sequel out of this?
Yes. So the part that upsets me the most is the current theory is potentially that Allison is going to now take up the mantle, which I have so many issues because they're almost playing it like it's a genetic thing, but we've established that they are not related.
Didn't they do that in like Halloween 4?
Halloween, Rob Zombie Halloween 2 at the end. Laurie's having the visions and she goes in the shed and she comes,
If you were going to do that, why wasn't Allison the target the entire movie?
Yes.
That should have been, I'm going to kill her, and she becomes the new Laurie, who just so happens to be the granddaughter of Laurie.
Well, which would have been too much of a coincidental thing.
Part of me feels like Michael didn't know that Allison was...
She was just there,
Because when they were in the backseat of the cop car, he had no intentions of getting to her right away.
Right, he was mad at New Loomis.
Yeah.
But this is where it really bothers me is they did this movie to go back and try and fix the franchise from all the things that got fucked up by them constantly doing sequels to have to like make it work. But now, if it is not her and it is Michael Myers, they're doing that thing where they're gonna have to do some art, like super convoluted way to get him out of the trap in the basement that is on fire to be like he is alive and he is the boogeyman. And I'm just like, you're undoing everything.
He found the secret escape tunnel that Laurie forgot she built.
Yeah.
And he rips the door off the hinges and gets away.
If that happens, it will probably make this... Well, I don't know if it'll make this movie work less for me. I'll probably just ignore that one afterwards.
Like I do with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. But that's my biggest what the fuck. Because I remember in theaters hearing the... And I was just like, oh, no. And they're doing that...
Die.
They're doing that with Joker, too. Joker was from the get-go. It's supposed to be just a one and done movie, and then it made $1 billion, and they're like, yeah, we're thinking about making a sequel. And I was like, don't.
Make movies forever.
I feel like, though, the one proper way to kill Michael Myers is to do a Zodia on him, the Yu-Gi-Oh.
Just shoot
Cut
him
him into
space.
pieces and put an arm here, another arm here,
Throw him in a
torso
volcano.
somewhere else.
You mean William Wallace his ass?
I guess.
Send the head back to Scotland.
What was your favorite scene?
The little kid that's being babysat was like, "Run, Dave! You're gonna get killed." Kid knows what's up, and he got the fuck out of there.
If he was a good babysitter, I wouldn't be up here clipping my nasty ass toes. I also like when he first sees the boogeyman and she's going, he's like, no, send Dave.
Don't send your white ass up there.
He is very much the audience.
That's true. What was your favorite scene?
You know, I was going to come up with one, and I didn't. Probably when he smashes Not Loomis's head in like a fucking pumpkin and just...
Or how about when he finally kills douchey reporter guy?
Oh, God, yes. When we're making a podcast. We're investigative journalists.
Investigative.
We're going to die soon.
Yeah.
We have no situational awareness.
This actually reminds me of something I meant to make a note about and I forgot to. I like how much of this movie everyone is in close proximity to each other without knowing it, if that makes sense. So when they pull up to the gas station, there's very obviously Michael walks by in the background because he's wearing the white jumpsuit. But immediately after that, when she's, where's the loo? I've been in America for weeks at a time and I still don't notice a fucking bathroom. But I just now noticed, I've seen this movie probably like 3 or 4 times now. In the background of that shot, you see him beating the fuck out of the mechanic where he got the teeth from. It's super blurred out, and she's here, and it's making you pay attention to this. When Allison and the nice guy are walking down the street, the sheriff's SUV goes by in the background. So everyone is constantly in a state of it makes the town feel smaller, if that makes sense. Because it is supposed to be not a suburb, but like a smaller, I would say probably Newton-sized town. Like
in Illinois.
Right. It's definitely a couple thousand people at least, but it does a good job of being like, these characters are all here, and it lets you mentally know where everyone is at any given time. You're like, oh shit, there they go, they missed her.
It's kind of like how the Ritchie makes his films.
Guy Ritchie.
Everything's all kind of in there and then finally comes together at the end, where this one's just everything's in the small area.
And no one says cunt in this movie.
On a plate?
Hey, callbacks. You weren't there for that episode. You were dancing.
Can I change mine?
Yeah.
When he's filling the gas up, the lady's looking at him. He just does one of these. She's like, okay. Like, why was this scene here?
I think she's looking at Michael Myers. I think she's supposed to be... So there's some weird link that they try and set up with Michael and the other crazy people.
Was she a crazy?
I think she was. I don't think she was one of the ones from The Thing, but like the vacant look on her face makes it look like she's just one that's free.
Okay.
Like she's
out
got
in the
picked
wild.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, the opening when everyone else like, you can feel it, Michael, and everyone else was freaking
Everyone
out.
else, yeah.
That's where they're still really kind of like, they don't
Are we
really...
supernatural? Are we not?
They can't really commit
Is
to
he
which
part
one
of
they
a
want.
cult for Doomsday? I don't know.
My favorite scene is the one shot when he finally gets his mask and then he's walking through the town on Halloween and they just keep following him with the camera, and it's all because that's the callback to the original Halloween where they start out where he goes through the house, and it was a huge pain in the ass to film that. I assume this one is a pain in the ass because that's so many moving parts that have to hit their marks and their cues at the right time, that it's always just
You
I
don't think
always
there was any
appreciate it.
cuts sneaked in there at all?
There could have been, but it's done well enough that you don't notice it. And I also like that the camera doesn't just 100% follow him. Like there's parts where it stops and it lets you see what else is going on, and then there's a part where you see the lady talking because it's now her scene to establish like, oh man, I should lock my doors, and you just see him go in the background and come around the back, and they do a really good job with the reflection in the window. They do a couple shots like that, and it's like, that good
Well
job
done.
good job, guy that made Pineapple Express.
David Blakely.
Finally, who is your MVP?
The hunter's son. He knew he was in a dangerous situation.
What a
and he
twist.
was ready for anything.
He's probably the smartest one in this movie.
Was told not to shoot and shot. He knew
That's
he
true.
was in
Yeah.
a scary killer movie. He knew right away.
And
He's
what
like,
does he
I'm
have-
going to take my gun with me, then I'm going to go
What does he have most in common with you?
I think it's the hunting.
He just wants to dance. It's kind of my thing right now.
It's
kind of my thing right now.
Is it a coincidence that happened right after we watched the dancing movie and make the Tom Goes to Berlin joke?
Probably.
Yes.
Like,
It
I laughed
wasn't
so
coincidence.
fucking
This
hard
This is
at
one of
that.
those
It was
cosmic
written in the
jokes.
stars.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your
Fate willed it to happen.
who's your MVP?
You know, I was gonna come up with one and I didn't.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's hard with that pen and paper.
Well, it's
Computer
not even just
can
that.
get it
Like,
later.
I wasn't super into the movie, but I didn't hate it. So it's not like, oh, I really liked. You know, the dad kind of annoyed me. He was funny, but he annoyed me. And I'm not super into Michael. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't think he ever picked Michael Myers for the MVP of his own movie.
Not Loomis was annoying and weird because it's like, oh, my pen. Look at my pen.
I was really happy when he ended up being evil because the first time I saw it, I was just like, this fucker just oozes evil. And then he finally turned and I was like, thank you. Also, he looks like he's straight up out of the Wizard of Oz.
He's got a
Looks like the fucking wizard.
Albert Einstein mustache.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. I was thinking Einstein. That's what it was. We'll go with the black kid.
Yeah,
I think I liked him the most.
he was
And
very
didn't
fucking
die.
great. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He is
He got
the
the fuck out of there.
he is the one likable person that fully gets away scot free. My MVP's the dad, obviously. Obviously.
You just like that he gets stuff on his penis.
It's so fucking funny. And he's the most real character I've ever seen in any movie. People are like, the Joker is the most realistic portrayal of anyone with a mental disability. And I say Halloween is the most realistic portrayal of anyone's dad that ever dadded. I see your dad in him. I see your dad in him. I see everyone's dad in him. He probably calls them titty lights.
Titty lights.
On that note,
Yeah.
who has next week? Is that Tom?
It's
Yep.
yeah.
You got
So
an
I
idea?
assume it's gonna be a dance movie.
I mean, Black Swan was.
I had
mentioned
an
last
idea
time.
a couple days ago. I was watching. I thought about doing the new Breaking Bad movie.
I just watched that
El
last night.
Camino. It was really good.
It was.
I watched it too. But I feel like in order for us to watch that, we all have had to seen all of Breaking Bad to actually get the movie. So
I can
I'm not
watch
gonna
a
put
review of it.
I'm not going to put you through it, so
No.
I'll think of
That's a
something
big
else.
You
ask.
made me watch one episode once.
I made you watch one
Yeah,
episode?
it was the pizza on the roof episode,
Oh, yeah.
or the one after that. 'Cause you're like, okay, so here's what happened last episode.
Previously on Breaking Bad.
Yeah. That's about
So
I
it's
don't
gonna
know.
be
I'm
a
gonna
mystery
figure it
box.
out.
Nice.
I'll get it figured out.
Nice.
And then we'll do 2 weeks later premiere.
Yay! And that was Halloween.
The day after Halloween.
That's true.
Goodbye.
We're good. We're really, we fucking crush it, dude.
Every time.
Planning, forethought, that's us. If you look up like those in the dictionary, you'll probably see their definition.